We know the hype around artificial intelligence has dominated the market so far this year. How much should we buy into this rally? We also want to bring back Seema Shah, Principal Asset Management Chief Global Strategist, and of course, Brian Frank at the table with us, Frank Funds CIO and Portfolio Manager. So first, let's just get into initial reaction to AMD. Seema, I want to hear your reaction to their news about their new chip, and could it be a rival to NVIDIA?
So I think the key thing here is that, I mean, even during earnings season, any company that mentioned the words AI had a very, very positive market reaction. Now, we are significant believers in the broader long-term perspective of technology, and of course, AI is right at the center of that. I do think, though, as we look out over the broader market reaction to over the last couple of months, is that there's maybe a little bit of froth. There's a lot of expectation from investors. Probably some of those expectations will not be delivered, met within the next few months. So I think from that froth, you could see a little bit of a pullback. There's certainly at least a long-term trajectory of a lot of these firms. If they have AI within their capabilities and it's something they're fixating on, well, it certainly does look like a very positive path for them.
You know, one of our esteemed colleagues here at Yahoo Finance, he has a cold foam every day, Brian, and I look at it and I'm just like, most of that is just foam. And then the rest of it is substance. And so I think about the foam phase that it feels like we're in right now, where you're getting a lot of, ooh, that looks interesting and it sounds interesting, but where's the actual substance come into play? And what does that timeline look like for some of these AI companies, if you will, right now?
Yeah, let's put some numbers on the foam there.
Sure.
And I agree 100%. So the CEO of AMD said it's a $30 billion market today. Mm-hmm. It'll be a $150 billion market 5 years from now. Right. How much market cap did NVIDIA add in the last month? You're looking about 300 or 400 billion. And that's an 80% capture of the market. So if AMD can put a dent in that, there's still way more market cap being added than probably the size of the entire AI market. It's definitely exciting. It's definitely a technological breakthrough. But the same thing happened to Microsoft in the late 1990s with the advent of the internet and Microsoft Office and Windows. They dominated the market from 2000 to 2010. Microsoft doubled their operating income, but the stock went down 40% over that 10-year period because there was just too much froth.
Right. Seema, I want to ask you, so regulators are starting to now look at AI, generative AI specifically. You had Congress having their first meeting, or senators, I should say, having their first meeting regarding that this week. Who stands to benefit if there's increased regulatory scrutiny, or who stands to lose if there's increased regulatory scrutiny over generative AI?
Well, I say that, I mean, that is a significant concern. I think it's been a concern for tech investors for many years, just waiting to see how regulators are going to respond to this, this ever improving technology. Now, from our perspective, things don't come in overnight, but certainly you can see that is the direction that Congress are going towards. And for investors who have got these very, very high hopes of what technology can deliver them, that is a concern that regulations will pull back some of that, and there could be some disappointment, which unfortunately would pull down not just the technology sector, would pull down the broader market. And then there's a whole China-US geopolitical relationship, which does center around technology as well to consider. So it's not just a straightforward path. I think there's a lot of, headwinds on the horizon that investors really need to take interest in and take notice of as they start to think about investing in these stocks.
And looking at the AI stocks, some of them have benefited just from mentions. Some of them have benefited from AI just being in their name. And I'm looking at you, C3 AI. But at the end of the day, too, as we think about where the different pillars of artificial intelligence, specifically generative artificial intelligence, because that is the latest kind of wave of this AI craze right now, if there is a pillar among the applications, the language learning models being its own pillar, or the chips being its own model, chips or pillar, chips are winning out right now. So where is that kind of next wave from your perspective going to take shape, Seema?
I think there's a lot of things. I mean, the chips perspective is, I think, at the moment the most important, but unfortunately it does really feed into that geopolitical relationship that we're so concerned about with US-China. But overall, look, I think the one thing that we can say is that if technology is permitted to move in the direction, fulfill the potential it has, there will be a very significant productivity boost to the US economy and actually globally as well. So anything that can benefit or even ride on the back of some of these AI stocks, the technology, we think stand to do well. I have to say that, look, for investors at these prices, certainly for the ones like Nvidia, as you mentioned before, it's probably not a great time to get involved. But there are other mechanisms within the broader market that you can get exposure to technology and to the AI craze. So I think for investors, it's not just about looking at technology, it's about looking at the broader complex and seeing where the opportunities are.
Brian, that raises a really good point. How far away do you think we are from AI having some type of material effect on the employment situation, more so than we're already seeing right now on kind of just total count of jobs out there, but how those roles will change in the future, what this also means in terms of productivity that's expected across the employment situation too?
I actually take an optimistic stand on that, because you hear different industries applying AI to their jobs, and it actually makes people more efficient, and it doesn't necessarily put them out of work. It just actually makes them more productive. So I'm optimistic that AI will actually increase employment and, you know, better quality employment as well. So it could be a great thing for everybody.